Hello students and the warmer welcome in this third lecture of the oscillation chapter. But students, before we starting this session, have you visited my previous video? Then you will get this part very easily. You have to learn some basic terms which I have taught you in the previous lecture in order to learn this next lecture. So students, first of all you have to just refer my previous lecture, so this lecture you will get very easily. So we are just going to revise some part which is important from the exam perspective. In students, first of all in this lecture we will revise some previous part for your better understanding. So few terms you will revise quickly which are most important from the exam perspective. So first of all we have learned is the linear SHM and its a theory, its a considerations, three cases, and its a derivation. So these three parts we will revise in short. So students, as you can see, this is the diagram for the linear SHM, and I will revise the arrangement. First of all, the spring is attached to the rigid support, as you can see in the diagram. So one end of the spring is attached or the hinged to the fixed support at the left side, you can see, and at the right side there is one block which having some sufficient amount of weight is connected to the spring at its right side, you can see in the diagram. Now after that we have studied the three cases. So as you can see, we will see the first case in which the block is stretched toward the right side of the spring. Then what will happen? The spring will retain the restoring force, means it will just retain the restoring force, and then the spring will become unwinding, and the displacement of that block from the mean position or from the equilibrium position will be x, as you can see in the diagram. Now the spring will unwinding and the length of spring from the fixed support will be increased, thus the displacement of the block from its equilibrium position will be occur. So students, one more thing you have to observe here is the surface on which the block is moving and the spring is lying over is the frictionless surface. Only surface of block will touch to this frictionless surface. Now we will see the three of the cases in which the block will move at the rightmost position as the very stretched case, and when the block is at the equilibrium position, you can see the middle one diagram for it. And the last one case is when the block will move towards the leftmost position towards the rigid support of the spring with the displacement of x from the equilibrium position. So we will see these three of the cases and we will study what the exactly terms it will cause while these displacements occur. So at first we have to pull that block toward the rightmost side. At the most of the rightmost side means there will be maximum displacement of the block from its equilibrium position, say yes. Then you have to leave that block as it is. Then what will happen, student? You can guess. The block will, with the very high intensity, it will move towards the left. Okay, but as it will moving toward the left, so first of all it will come at its equilibrium condition or at its equilibrium position, which has been indicated at the middlemost dotted line which is perpendicular to the surface of the spring. Then from this equilibrium position again it will move towards the left, towards the hinged or the fixed support, you can see. So when the block will be at the rightmost position, then the block will cause the displacement of x towards the right from the equilibrium position, and it will move towards the right over that frictionless surface. Then when you leave that block, then again the force will be zero, means only the spring will try to regain its original shape as we have stretched at first. So the block will move towards the left, toward the hinged or fixed support, as you can see in the diagram. But before that it will come at the point where its equilibrium position was there. Then from that equilibrium position again it will move towards the left, and thus the block will move leftmost side, thus the spring will get compressed with the amount of force with which it has been stretched towards the right, and in this third condition it will cause the displacement of x from its equilibrium position. But in this third case, you can see the force, that the restoring force over that spring will be F is equal to minus kx, as you can see. But you are just watching that in the first case, the restoring force which will be applied by the spring will be F is equal to minus kx, and its direction is towards the equilibrium position or towards the fixed point of the spring. And in the last case, the restoring force of the spring, it will be F is equal to minus kx. It will be also same, and it is towards the right from the hinged support towards the equilibrium position or towards the rightmost position of that block. So the restoring force over the spring will be F is equal to minus kx. But as we know that force is equal to mass into acceleration, and this force is equal to minus k into x. When we equate this value, that is minus k into x will be equal to ma, be the mass into acceleration will be equal to the minus kx. So by the rearranging we can conclude the acceleration as F by m, which will be further, if we put the value, then we will get the minus k by m into x. So this will be the value of acceleration that we have to calculate in this type of case. And after this derivation, we have to understand one more thing, that when we pull that block towards the rightmost position, then again it will move towards the leftmost position because of the unwinding of the spring and the winding of the spring. Thus the spring will cause the true and fro motion. But most important point is, student, here, that the block initially at which point it was reached, the second time it will not be reached at the same point. It will reach the point just before the initial one, just before the first one. And in the third oscillation, the block will reach not the second position, means the position at which the second oscillation was attained. Exactly before that, the third point will be there, means the block will goes on decreasing its length from its fixed position of the spring. And exactly in the opposite way, the position of the block will be exactly goes on decreasing, means towards the leftmost position, towards the fixed or hinged support. So on, there will be at the rightmost side and even at the leftmost side, the length, means the oscillation length will be goes on decreasing. Thus the definition of the LSHM, means the linear simple harmonic motion, will be the linear periodic motion of the body in which the force is always towards the mean position and its magnitude is proportional to the displacement from its mean position. So student, this is the definition of the linear simple harmonic motion. I will repeat one more time, that the linear periodic motion of the body in which the force is always towards the mean position and its magnitude is proportional to the displacement from its mean position. So this is the definition of linear simple harmonic motion. Now students, we will see the differential equation for the SHM, means the differential equation for the simple harmonic motion. So as we have derived the equation that F is equal to minus kx, that is the restoring force in the spring, and F, as we know that the second law of the motion of Newton, that is F is equal to ma. From these two equations we have concluded that, you can see, the A is equal to minus k by m into x. So from this equation we have obtained the derivation for the calculation of the acceleration in terms of that it's k, m and x. Now we will see the next part of it, that suppose, now students, as we have know that the velocity is calculated by the displacement of the particle per unit time. So velocity of that block from the specific position will be calculated by the v is equal to dx by dt. So as dx will be the displacement of that block from that position, and the dt will be the time required to perform or to exist that displacement. Now, so this will be the v is equal to dx by dt. Now further, so students, again if we have to calculate the acceleration, then we have to take the derivation of v 2 times, then we will get the acceleration. So as the acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity with respect to the time. So as we know that the velocity is equal to dx by dt, so if you want to calculate the acceleration, then we will have to take the derivative of this v again, then we will get the acceleration. So this value of acceleration that we have obtained, d square x upon dt square, we will put in the above equation. We will get m into d square x upon dt square will be equal to minus kx. So this will be equation form. So we will just rearrange, then we will get the equation d square x upon dt square plus, means that minus kx will become at this side of the equality sign, then it will be plus k by m into x. So the total equation will be d square x upon dt square plus km up into x is equal to 0. So this is the equation we have rearranged. Now substituting the value of k by m as omega square, where the omega is equal to angular frequency. Don't forget students, the omega is equal to angular frequency. We have to use in upcoming derivations also, so you have to keep this in your mind. Omega is angular frequency. So if we put the value of k by m is equal to omega square, then we can write this equation in the way that the d square x upon dt square plus omega square is equal to 0. Means the value of k by m we have put as the omega square. So students, this is the equation, this is the differential equation for the simple harmonic motion. So you may asked in the exam for the derivation of this simple harmonic motion, or many times this has been asked that the problems based on this equation. So d square x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. This is the differential equation for the SHM. So this is how we have derived the differential equation for the SHM. So students, when this question will be asked in your exam, so first of all you have to draw this diagram, means 3 cases. The 3 cases are, the first one is stretched one, second one is in relaxed, and third one is a compressed case. And you have to give the proper naming, that the name for the block and the force, means from which side, when the block is at the rightmost side, so at which side, toward which side you are going to indicate the F is equal to minus case. And in the third case, towards which side the F is equal to minus case, you will be indicate toward the rigid support of the spring or toward the rightmost position. So these things you have to write in a very correct way. And the displacement also toward the right side, the X will be at the right from the equilibrium position, and toward the left side the X will be towards the left side from the equilibrium position. So this is the difference between X and the F is equal to minus kx. You have to indicate in the correct manner. Then you have to write the case that when the block will pull toward the rightmost position, then you are going to leave that block from its rightmost position. So there, what are the possible conditions, possible cases of that block will be taken into consideration in order to obtain the derivation for the differential equation of the SHM. Then the first will be at the rightmost position, then the second position or the second case will be at the middle, means at the equilibrium position of the block. Then we will consider the leftmost position, means at the very compressed position of the block in which the spring will be get compressed. So these 3 things you have to elaborate in your F is equal to minus kx. Okay, restoring forcibly F is equal to minus kx. But most of the students are forgets that why minus sign is provided to the kx. So the reason for that is it shows the force and displacement depend upon elasticity and thus in opposite direction. So the force and the elasticity are in opposite direction. Thus we can say displacement also, when you are applying the force and the displacement is also in opposite direction. So that is also one of the reason that the minus kx has been written. So F is equal to minus kx. So this will be your equation number 1. Then you have to take into consideration that the Newton's second law, which is F is equal to ma, means the definition of the force So this equation will be m into d square x upon dt square will be equal to minus kx, as you can see on the screen. After that we will just rearrange this equation, means the minus kx will be termed as d square x upon dt square, and the m will be at this side of the equation, then it will be minus k by m into x. So this minus k by m into x, when come to this side of the equality sign, so it will become d square x upon dt square plus k by m into x will be equal to 0. So this is the rearrangement that we have done of this equation. Now after that we will substitute the value of k by m is equal to omega square, which is the angular velocity. The notation for the omega square is the angular velocity. So this value we have to put in the equation. So we will get the equation that d square x upon dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. Means, and don't forget student, that the sign used for the angular frequency is the omega square. So the entire equation for the differential equation for the SHM will be d square x upon dt square plus omega square is equal to 0. So this is the entire part from this chapter we have learned in this video. So students, the next part of this oscillation chapter we will learn in the next video. Thank you so much.